Hi, my name is Kerry Decker. Stay tuned for the next 30 minutes as we go over the course of the history of sound film, right here on the NightLife Show. And hello there once again. Hey, we got to get fancy once in a while here. Welcome to another edition of the NightLife Show, Central Florida's only television show about television. And it's good to see you here once again. My name is Kerry Decker, and it's always a pleasure to have you here on the NightLife Show. But I thought we'd go way, way back to the dawn of sound movies, because this is something which is maybe we take for granted anymore when we watch films on tape, or whether we watch an old movie at home or whatever, that of course, as you know, once upon a time movies were silent. And it wasn't only until the middle 20s that different studios began using sound films and everything and experimenting with them, and then finally coming up in about 1927 of perfecting a method of sound pictures which finally took hold and grabbed the industry and really forged it ahead into the movies that we know now. But what we're going to concentrate on tonight is the first practical method that became with the sound films back in the late 1920s. Now what we're talking about really is around 1926. The Bell Laboratories at that time had an interesting method for putting sound and film together. What they did, it was the Vitaphone system. And as you may recall, that is using a very large disc, like a phonograph record, that went along with each reel of movie film. Now we're talking about two separate pieces, the sound on a phonograph record and of course the picture on film. And these two had to be in synchronization and shown back at the same time to give the illusion of talking pictures. Rather complicated process, and of course later on, only I'd say about 3 years later, the whole system was scrapped in favor of sound on film. But it's interesting to note all of the details that they went to get this first sound pictures going. So let's go back now to the Bell Labs, and it's a short industrial film that they made, which was called Voice from the Screen. And this was made in October 27th of 1926. And it used the Vitaphone separate sound system, but it kind of explains what the process was all about. I think you'll find this very interesting. So let's see the Voice from the Screen.
From the amplifier, wires lead to an electrical recording device which is mounted on the recording machine which you see at my left. This, I believe, covers in sufficient detail the various elements going to make up the studio equipment, but I believe you will be interested in seeing the studio in actual operation, and that is the next thing we're going to do. Are you ready, Mr. Heller?
All right, everybody quiet, please. After the bell.
All the time in the tropical time, where they do that funny, funny dance. I fell in love with the tropical dove while doing that funny, funny dance. Oh, the poor little kid, she never did have a bit of loving before. Oh, I made up my mind that I wasn't fine, the only girl that I ever wore. She's my hula baby, someday she'll be a lady, wait someday. And we live in Hawaiian sunshine and drink the dark brown moonshine and let the rest of the world go by. How are you? I'm bringing you kisses from over the sea.
Real life. Thanks, boys.
Now, on my left, is the projecting machine and associated turntable and reproducing elements. The projecting machine is practically standard in all respects. The turntable mechanism, which rotates the sound record, is geared directly, however, to the projecting machine, both being operated by a constant speed electric motor. This is the form of record that is employed. Now I've placed the record on the turntable and also located the reproducing element ready to start for reproduction of the record itself. You recall I mentioned this electrical reproducing element as being the device to which is attached a needle which follows the grooves in the record. The movement of this needle generating an electric current, very weak, which is amplified, and the current then goes to the special loud-speaking telephones which are mounted adjacent to the motion picture screen.
Well, it was only about a year later that the first commercial success of this system took place. It was in 1927, and it was Warner Brothers' famous film, The Jazz Singer, which starred Al Jolson. Well, if we kind of look back just a few months before that, there was actually another sound film which made its debut before that, and that was the previews to The Jazz Singer. And that's what we're going to watch right now, a very rare piece of sound movie film featuring John Miljan, who was an actor of the time, and as he describes the new Vitaphone system and actually gives you a preview to the first talking movie. Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am privileged to say a few words to you in this most modern and novel manner. Privileged because it's the first living Vitaphone announcement ever made announcing the coming of one of the year's outstanding pictures. What is the picture? Oh, well, of course. You've guessed that I'm referring to Warner Brothers' supreme triumph, Al Jolson in The Jazz Singer. Now, I'm going to show you a few scenes of what the crowd saw on the inside of the theater. And now I'm not going to take up any more of your time, but don't forget, at this theater, Al Jolson in The Jazz Singer tonight.
That's going way, way back to 1927. Mr. John Miljan, as he previewed the film The Jazz Singer for us, okay? I have to get my mouth fixed after a while. But right now, the clock on the wall says we've got to quit for tonight. We'll be back again next week at this very same time with some more video for you right here on the NightLife Show. So, this is Kerry Decker. Thanking you for your time this time. Until next time, we'll see you again next week. Good night now.